for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no else, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change, yeah. Tell them that's like, yeah, it's Tel I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm counting wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no else, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the
Continue that here in Cleveland. Get to the pinnacle game. Like for a championship, hopefully. Mobley late in the shot clock and a half. Step on Martin. Oh, goodness. A devastating, vicious dunk by Evan Mobley.
Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy, Mac. I mean, how do you even start a show off when the Cavaliers are doing some of the shit that they're doing? As you just watched, Evan Mobley throwing it down over multiple Cavaliers, including former Cavalier Andre Drummond. You love to see that happen. Drummond was part of two very, very substantial highlights tonight. One in which Donovan Mitchell crossed him up. Okay, maybe he stepped on his foot a little bit, but he was part of two big-time highlights tonight. The Mitchell crossover and then triple, and then the Mobley jam. Oh, my God. Seeing Evan Mobley go out there and play as physically as he has these last couple of games, it's been phenomenal. You know, last night against Giannis, he really took the challenge, and the stat line will not show it, but he really got the better of Giannis at times. And then him really just taking it upon himself to just eat, especially in the mid-range and in the post area. It's not even see him drop or at least attempt a couple of triples. He knocked down one, but you can see the gravity is really starting to be generated there as teams are actually beginning to close out on him. But I'll tell you what, man, I will tell you what, Mobley is looking like he could be forcing us to have this conversation about who is going to be this team's best player really, really quickly, sooner rather than later. If he had the mentality, we'd probably already be having this discussion. But Mobley, with his two-way play, being able to look like a defensive player of the year candidate out there night in and night out, and then finally put it together offensively under new head coach Kenny Atkinson. Look, that conversation is not far away. It is really, really starting to look apparent to me out there. I don't know about you guys. And that's no slight against Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland or Jared Allen or any other player you want to throw into that conversation, because at any given point last year, you could have made a definitive argument for Jared Allen being the most consistent, most impactful player out there, sans Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell, we know, night in and night out, he is capable of some big-time performances. But Evan Mobley is starting to string together some really good ones himself. He would finish just 3 assists shy of a triple-double. 22 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, was an efficient 10 of 14 from the floor, including 1 of 2 from three-point range, 1 of 5 from the charity stripe. Got to knock down them free throws. Got to knock down them free throws. 1 block, 2 steals, plus 10 on the night. Yo. This dude was absolutely bowling tonight. And I remain of the mindset that Evan Mobley, if he becomes this team's best overall player, I don't really know what you're going to do, man. I don't know what you're going to end up doing if you are the opposition, because on any given night, you have the ability in in Donovan, in Darius, in Jared, there's a multitude of players that you can look towards and say, you know what, this is this is unstoppable. We just saw the other night where Dean looked damn near unbeatable out there, unflappable. His confidence was showing, and that is exactly what you want to see out of a player like Dean Wade, because when he is playing the best that he can, this whole team seems to really round into form, and they just look like they're damn near unbeatable out there. And then when Mobley takes it upon himself to be that guy out there, to be the number one option, what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, what are you going to do when you have Evan Mobley acting as if he is your best player? I mean, what do you do? What do you do in that case? If you are an opponent of this team, what answer do you have in that regard? As I see numerous people telling me, hey, you got the wrong thing up on the side here. Yeah, let me tell you what, I do not have a producer, guys. Yeah, I'm putting up these graphics. There it goes. I always make these things prior to the stream, but I always forget to change them. So I appreciate y'all for keeping me on my toes, man. So thank you. It's been updated. As you can see here, Evan Mobley dunks on multiple 76ers. Darius and Donovan combined for 10 triples. That's just fucking crazy. And then the bench combined for 40 plus points tonight. But I'll tell you what, this team continues to win in new and exciting ways. And seeing Donovan out there, man, there was points where people were questioning his athleticism, on whether or not, he had lost a step or he had been dealing with a nagging injury. I told you guys on the last stream, I think some of that dwindling athleticism or questions in regards to it, I think it's literally just him conserving his energy at times, and understanding and knowing, hey, I don't have to go 100%, full force every single night from an athleticism standpoint. I can just let these other guys go to work. And you're seeing that play out with Donovan Mitchell, with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. I'll tell you what, that is the right step, the right direction for this team. If the Cavaliers want to win a title this season or in the next, it's going to be on the backs of players like Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. Donovan Mitchell will certainly play his part. He could end up being the best player on the championship team this season. But in order for us to get there, we have to be able to lean on Evan and Darius. And that's exactly what happened. And, I'm speaking very highly of Evan tonight after that highlight reel worthy dunk. But Darius Garland was nothing to sniff at either. 26 points for him, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Very, very efficient. 9 of 11 from the field, including 6 of 7 from three-point distance. Still not a guy who is going to draw a ton of foul calls. Only went to the line once tonight, in which once or twice tonight. Only had 2 free throws. What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? But still, to see him score 25 plus, that always makes you feel good, because people were ready to throw Darius Garland out with the water last year. And I'm glad we're at the point right now where we can all see that last season was an outlier for Darius. But tonight, against an Embiidless Philadelphia 76ers team, you had to take advantage of that type of matchup. Tonight, Embiid was out. Yesterday, you had Dame out. So the Cavaliers absolutely had to take advantage of some of those injuries, and luckily they did in 2 very, very big wins against the Bucks and the 76ers. And so the Cavaliers have moved as a result to 25-4. Holy moly. If you ever thought this team would start out the season this way, I don't know what to tell you, because you're flat out lying to yourself prior to the season. This has surpassed probably even my wildest expectations for the start to this season. Like Kenny Atkinson, I knew that he would come in with this team that we had in place, this core that we had in place, and point them in the right direction. But this is just blown past any expectations that I could have had, at least for the start of the season for them. Like, we're almost at the midway point already, and the Cavaliers, they look like the best team in the NBA. No disrespect to the Boston Celtics or the Oklahoma City Thunders or the Mavericks, whatever team you want to put in there. this looks like the best team in the NBA on any given night. From a statistical standpoint, from an aesthetically pleasing standpoint, there are all types of arguments that you can make that they are the best team in the league. And I know that the old adage is to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I know that we're all looking forward to the playoffs, but I'll tell you what, to get there, you got to get through the regular season. Every single one of these games counts. And I'm so fucking glad that the Cavaliers are taking this serious every single game. Kenny has these guys playing impactful basketball night in and night out. They are going out there and looking like they are picking up on every single miscue of the opposition. They're taking advantage of turnovers. They're attacking the glass more and more lately. They are attacking on the defensive side. They've been highly efficient with shooting the ball. There's just so many great things that you can say about this team, but man, I think it all starts at the top, not even with the core four, but with Kenny. And Kenny has just revolutionized what we have seen out of this team, because you saw glimpses of this type of play from Evan Mobley in the past during the JB Bickerstaff era, but we rarely saw it play out consistently. Hell, we saw it against Boston in game 5, I believe it was, where Mobley went off. But this is the version of Mobley we all wanted to see, not being afraid to attempt that triple on a game-to-game basis, not being afraid to take advantage of a mismatch inside the painted area, not being able to pull up from mid-range, as we saw him do that tonight. We've been seeing more and more post fadeaways from him, and that's something that has been out of his game for a little bit. But I tell you, to see Mobley put this offensive product on the court every single night, every single game, and to look like he could legitimately lay claim to being the Cavaliers' best player, it is a damn fine place to be in if you are the Cleveland Cavaliers, because we know this team, they may be one piece away from being truly considered a title contender in the eyes of people outside of Cleveland. But I don't know about you guys, based upon what we have seen in these last couple of games, and I get it, Max Strus was not out there tonight, but even watching that Milwaukee game, I'm not so sure or certain rather that it is an absolute necessity. We know that we would like to have a taller 3 or 4 out there. We know that we would still like to address the backup 4 or 5. I'm not saying we don't need one or we couldn't use one. I'm just saying I'm starting to get the feeling that with the current makeup, the current roster that we have, the depth, I am not so certain that we have I'm not so certain it's a necessity to go out and just make a move at all costs. Now, the real tricky part here is the tax threshold. The Cavaliers almost undoubtedly, if they intend to get below the luxury tax line or the luxury tax threshold, they will have to make some sort of move, whether that be moving on from a Sam Merrill, cutting ties with a Tristan Thompson. There are numerous things that they can do to address the tax threshold, but a big time move like acquiring a Cam Johnson or a Larry Nance Jr. or someone of that ilk, some of these names that we continuously hear thrown out there in rumors, it may not happen. I think it's much more likely that the Cavaliers make some sort of small concession so that they can get under that tax threshold if they believe in the product that they have right now. But I won't rule it out. I just think that what we have seen from them, it can be replicated in a postseason showing. And I think that with most people, when they look at this team's title contention status or their chances to do that, I think that they look at teams like Boston, teams like Atlanta, teams that have some size out on the wings, and they say, hey, this is a real problem for Cleveland. They need to address it. They need somebody who can defend some of these guys out there. And I get it. It's a real issue. But at the end of the day, I don't think you build your team specifically for any one matchup. I think to do that could backfire in numerous ways. And I just like what we have going on right now. There's definitely It's not a perfect team. There are definitely flaws that we have, i.e., the backup 4-5 situation. You don't want to truly have to rely upon a Tristan Thompson or the health of Dean Wade or George Niang being consistent in a postseason. But they've done some crazy things this year, and I think anything is possible. And the whole gripe with them this offseason was that they did not address some of these holes. And look where we are right now. And despite the 25-4 record that we have, the best in the NBA, people are still finding ways to disrespect us or criticize or critique, or overly critique, should I say. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, but people will still always find negatives with this team. It's insane. It's just crazy, man. Crazier than the chat right now that I'm ignoring on purpose. Some of the things that I'm seeing in here, but I'll tell you what, this team did not get a ton of pieces in the offseason, but they truly hasn't felt like they've needed it. You have a revitalized Karis LeVert. You have Ty Jerome playing the best basketball of his career. You have George Niang being as impactful as ever. You have Jalen Tyson even joining in on the action. And you know what? I feel damn good about the direction that we are heading in. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but against an unbeatless Philadelphia 76ers team, I got to kind of, move the discussion along, because it did feel like we kind of beat up on them tonight. And you know what? Good for them that they got Paul George coming back and playing his first official back-to-back. I think the first official second leg of a back-to-back for him. So good for them. But Embiid is still not doing it, and he probably won't this entire season. And we'll have to see how much that truly affects them, because Philadelphia guys, they're not doing so hot. They're 12th seeded as of right now. I honestly, I do not believe that this team ends up getting a top 6 seed, there's a very real chance that they do not make the playoffs entirely with the way that they are right now. They have very big issues to address. And I'll tell you what, I was really, really disappointed to see Jared McCain go down. That sucked. That sucked really bad. He was balling for them this year. Hopefully he comes back better than ever, but I'm not really sure that they even make the playoffs. So I'm not going to keep on punching them when they're down. This is a game that the Cavaliers absolutely should have won, just like the next one coming up against Utah with the 7-20 Jazz. The Cavaliers, they've done a very, very good job at making sure that they take every single opponent seriously. So I'm not worried about that occurring. But these are all games, the Milwaukee, Philly, Utah. These are all games that they absolutely should win. Now, will they win 3 straight come Monday? I think so, but the discussion rages on, because you can never take an opponent too lightly. But tonight, everything that we saw out of Mobley, out of Darius Garland, out of Donovan, hell, out of George Niang, 13 points and 5 rebounds off the bench tonight, 3 of 5 from 3-point distance. I had an interesting conversation with George that I'll keep to myself, but I think I may have motivated him a little bit. I'll take credit for that. But I'll tell you this team, they are as deep a team as we have had in a very, very long time. This might be the deepest team in Cavaliers history. And maybe that's sacrilege to say, considering that we won a title, not too long ago. But maybe I'm just getting caught up in a moment. But I really do feel like this may be the deepest team in Cleveland Cavaliers history. You guys feel free to let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm a madman. Maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much, but I do feel like this might be the deepest Cavaliers roster that we have maybe ever seen. And we'll have to see how far things go once we get to the postseason, because that's an entirely different animal. And that is the common thing, or theme rather, with fans of opposite teams or NBA pundits. It's the idea that regular season basketball doesn't matter. I was having an interesting discussion with one of my best friends the other day about why the devaluation of the NBA product is what it is and why we are where we are in terms of rating. And I honestly am starting to believe that it's a big time issue, not just for fans and being and wanting to actually view the product. I think the players are playing a very big role here, right? I think that when you have an Embiid or a player that's going to go out and say, you know what, I'm just not going to play today, or the regular season doesn't matter. We can lose one every now and then. I think when you hear that sort of thing from your best players, I think that immediately hurts the NBA product, because you're signaling to the fan base that you don't need to watch this game. You can wait until the playoffs and when games matter. And that's where we're at right now with this NBA. But the Cavaliers, they kind of seem to be bucking that trend, right? They're taking every single game seriously. Whether the opponent is big time like a Boston or a New York or a Golden State, or the opponent is the Utah Jazz or the I'm struggling. I don't want to name drop a lot of these teams out here, but I mean, it's clear to me, the Washington Wizards, the Toronto Raptors of the world, the Cavaliers, whoever the opponent is out there, they're giving it their all. And you have not heard from any Cavaliers this season that they're not going to play because they don't want to be out there, right? Everybody wants to be out there, even guys who can't, right? I'm sure Isaac Okoro and Sam Merrill, who got pulled early from this one, and Max Strus, who's on a minutes restriction, I'm sure all of these guys want to be out there. And the Cavaliers feel like a rare team in an era in which people are consistently load managing and going out there and not truly wanting to participate in every single game. I just think that you're not seeing that from the NBA across the board. But the Cavaliers feels like they're in a class of their own in regards to that. No need to beat a dead horse, though. I think I've kept you guys here long enough. I appreciate you for hanging out, spending a little bit of your Saturday night with me. Go back to watching the OSU game. That's pretty damn awesome to see them basically advance. So I think we all are going to feel good about Ohio sports. I won't even mention what happened with the Cleveland Guardians today and some of the moves that that they've been managing to pull off this offseason. I'm not even going to do it to you guys. But as I always tell you, if you'd like to reach out to me, you know how you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of said review to itscavalier53@gmail.com. If you are watching over on X, do your boy a favor. Head over to YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a live stream or piece of Cavs content. Y'all have a good weekend. Go Cavs.